In other news, massive flooding in Sleidheim has caused terrible destruction in nearby properties. The video shows cars being pulled away by the raging waves moving towards the city. 19th of July, the same disaster has struck the city of Mumbai. Heavy rains had gone on for days, causing floods and landslides, destroying neighborhood properties and sweeping away small houses. The neighborhood's residents has reported loss in household items and personal belongings. The stream has begun to move up the city and people has begun emergency evacuation. The same type of flooding has also happened in Palermo, Italy. Although not as destructive as the one in Mumbai, citizens has been very troubled with the lack of access to roads, restricting them in purchasing daily groceries. Up next to the news.
After a long discussion, we took three important points that we're going to present. The first point, the current situation regarding the climate change issue. Second point, perspective about the Earth's role in addressing climate change issue. And the last point, France's argument according to state census.
France is vulnerable to the effect climate change ranging from rising temperature that increase the rise of heat waves, higher rainfall that increase the risk of flooding, sea level rise, and change in the frequency and severity of storms that are associated through the National Climate Change Adaptation Plan.
April's climate change issues. Climate change causes the Earth temperature increase. As a result, ice thinning occurs continuously in the ice area at the North Pole. The melting of ice in the Arctic ice area would not be possible if climate change had not occurred.
Climate change is also impacting regions in Europe that are exposed to extreme rain. Rain in the region 3 until 19% more intense to global warming caused by human activities. The dramatic and deadly floods that hit Germany, Belgium, and elsewhere in mid-July. So for Hester and local authorities, homes, highway.
They did this because some hydrological monitoring system, which would give them more accurate information about flood, were damaged by the flood. There is a large amount of natural year-to-year variability in local rainfall pattern, which should be observed as well. The researchers looked at the large part of Western Europe, including Eastern France, Western Germany, Eastern Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, and Northern Switzerland. As the result, the team found that over the vast region, human-driven climate change increased of intensity of rain that fall on a single summer day by between 3% and 19%.
Climate change is also making Earth's mesosphere much thinner than the part of the atmosphere where we live. In contrast, Earth's atmosphere is much thicker near the Earth's surface. The current climate change has a negative impact on Earth's atmosphere.
Was conducted by scientists using data from 3 data satellites. The data taken, including 30 years of observational data, they found that the upper atmosphere is gradually shrinking as a result of man-made greenhouse gas emissions. The mesosphere above Earth poles in summer has been shrinking from 100 to 650 per decade and cooling 4 to 5 degrees Fahrenheit carbon dioxide can radiate heat, giving rise to increasing greenhouse gas. This is because the heat captured by carbon dioxide escapes into space faster than our molecules can absorb it.
The delegate state perspective about the youth's role in addressing climate change issue. Barack Obama said we are the first generation to feel the effect of climate change and the last generation who can do something about it. The world is undergoing a major change in demographics. Trace from UNICEF data, the high growth rate of the younger generation is in developing regions such as South Asia, East Asia, Asia Pacific, Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean. With the increasing generation of the younger generation population, there will be significant implications for the role of that generation in tackling the problem of climate change. As a potential leader, young generations' understanding of climate change issues is very crucial. The young generation must be the main actor because it is the younger generation who will most feel the impact of climate change in the future. This is also related to the role of the younger generation as agent of change.
Currently, the world is facing two major threats, namely the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change. And we, young people, must move quickly to tackle this climate change. quoted from Statista.com in 2020, the Earth's surface temperature was around 0.98 Celsius degrees warmer than the 20th century average.
In France itself, according to the data we quoted from climatechange.com, the global warming recorded in mainland France during the 20th century is about 30% greater than the average warming throughout the globe. The average annual temperature has risen by 0.95 degrees Celsius in mainland France compared to 0.74 degrees Celsius globally. These values are even higher for only the second half of the 20th century.
Then, as a young generation, what can we do to solve the problem of climate change? First, change our mentality. After the COVID-19 pandemic, of course we want to rebuild a life that is cleaner, greener, healthier, safer, and more resilient. This can be done by building an environmentally friendly lifestyle and low carbon consumptions. We can reduce our emission footprint by implementing energy efficiency, reducing the frequency of using private motorized vehicles.
Sustainable consumption avoid the food waste because it also contributes to pollution and greenhouse gas emission. Go purchase green food products and recycle organic leftovers into compost.
As the younger generation, we can also create campaigns that aim to raise awareness about climate change issues such as policies in managing forest and land use, saving water use, and air pollution. The campaign can be done through social media because social media is one of them.
The Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement is an agreement in the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change that controls the reduction of effective carbon dioxide emission. The Paris Agreement aims to stop the warming temperatures of no more than 2 degrees Celsius, and for that, countries need to include commitment on how much carbon dioxide emission will be reduced.
As many as 195 countries parties to the Climate Change Conference COP21 agreed to the Paris Agreement, which is an international law-based agreement to reduce 2020 greenhouse gas emissions. President COP21 Lauren.
There are 5 main points of the Paris Agreement. 1. Mitigation efforts by reducing emission quickly to reach the agreed threshold for increasing the Earth temperature, which is below 2 degrees Celsius, and trying to be suppressed to 1.5 degrees Celsius. 2. Transparent carbon accounting.
As for the measures taken by France, they are making the energy transition between moderate and sustained climate change, such as the depletion of snow on some mountains, the rise in temperatures, and the exhaustion of agricultural production. One of the climate changes that take place in France and Indonesia is the destruction of coral reef.
And now we are going to talk about France as agent of change in addressing climate change issue.
France also has some plans to help tackle climate change problems, such as France produce ambitious steps in implementing greenhouse gas emission reduction in every sector, such as free carbon dioxide, transverse orientation, and low carbon agriculture. Another way France achieves its neutralization strategy is by invasion of 40% electricity by 2030.
This is the end of our discussion about climate change issue. We ask forgiveness for any words in behavior which are not supposed to be. We are French and we're ready to start a change movement to tackle climate change. Hopefully, we can overcome climate change on our Earth together and take good care of our Earth for a better future. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Save our planet.
Save our planet.
Save our planet.
Save our future.
Save our future.